You're listening to the Bloodshed Baddies.
Hi, I'm Lex,
And I'm Sam.
and we are the Bloodshed Baddies.
Hi, baddies.
Hello.
What's up? What's up, Lex?
Not much, not much. What's up with you?
Not much. So today we're recording 2 episodes in one day, and I feel like it's gonna be so dark and heavy. So I wanted to make us be happy and think of happy things. So I wanted to start off by asking you five of your favorites. So like favorite things.
Okay,
Ready?
ready. Is this rapid fire?
I would not hate a tiny explanation.
Okay.
What is your favorite book?
Fourth Wing.
I should know. Lex is obsessed with those books.
I have, but previous to Fourth Wing, it's The Outsiders. I love The Outsiders. I have an Outsiders tattoo. I love, love, love The Outsiders. But Fourth Wing, I am obsessed. I have never loved something as much as I love Fourth Wing.
Oh my God. Mine is either The Shining or Beartown. And if you know right either, read them.
Beartown, great. The Shining, I did not. I don't like Stephen King's writing. It's too descriptive.
Very descriptive, but for some reason that book had me. I did not like the movie. It scares, I don't like scary movies, but the book, chef's kiss. What is your favorite movie?
I have a really hard time with this question because I don't have like a favorite movie. But I think like as far as like horror movies go, I love Nightmare on Elm Street. I think it's a classic. I love it. So I'll go with that, I guess.
My favorite is Goodfellas.
Oh,
Best
that's a
movie
good
ever.
one.
What is your favorite scent?
Lavender.
Lavender, that's such a good one. I am into like a eucalyptus mint candle.
Oh, I like eucalyptus too. I've seen those people who like hang eucalyptus on their shower
Ooh,
head.
I should do
I know.
that.
And I've been meaning to do it, but I never get around to it because ADHD.
Let's try it. We're gonna try it. What is your favorite sports team?
I was gonna sing the fight song, but I don't want to anymore. I changed my mind. University of Michigan football.
Boo. I'm a Spartan fan and a Detroit Lion fan. Woo, woo, woo. And last but not least, what is your favorite place that you have traveled to or visited?
New Zealand,
Why?
because it's literally unbelievably beautiful. I did not know that anywhere in the world could be that beautiful. And everybody was so nice. It was literally the nicest people I've ever met in my entire life there.
All right, I'm gonna have to go. And my answer, mostly the same reason it was the most beautiful place I've ever seen in my life, is St. Lucia. So pretty. All right, let's think of these favorite things while we talk about really dark and sad things.
Well, you're in luck today, Sam,
Oh,
because for this week's episode, I did something a little different than our normal.
yeah.
So there is no murder in this episode.
Ooh,
No one dies.
ooh.
But I watched this different kind of crime documentary that I just like have to talk about. I am going to talk about Richard Scott Smith and the Love Fraud documentary.
I have no knowledge of this, so lay it on me.
So, Richard Scott Smith is a liar, a con man, and according to a group of women, a crook. In fact, back in 2016, one of these women created an entire website dedicated to outing Richard Scott Smith.
Okay, girl.
I'm going to read you a quote straight from the About page on the website. This page was created as a collaborative effort to warn women about a man named Richard Scott Smith. Richard Scott Smith is a 42-year-old white male who preys upon single mothers with daughters. His intent is to use to obtain credit under your name by opening charge accounts, buying vehicles, and purchasing expensive homes. He will then leave you holding the debt once the relationship is over. This man also has an inappropriate attraction to young girls, claiming he has always wanted a daughter of his own. Once he is dating a woman who has a daughter, he will refer to her as his daughter.
I feel like I'm not gonna like Richard.
Uh, yeah, we are going to start by jumping into some of the women's stories. And I've included a lot in this. Like, this is the majority of what I'm going to talk about is these women's stories because I just find them so wild and interesting. And I think it's great that these women stepped up and shared their stories about this happening to them.
Heck yes.
Multiple women, including Tracy, Ellen, and Sabrina, met Richard Scott Smith online on dating websites. However, he was going by three different names: Richard, Scott, or Mickey.
Mickey, where does that come from?
I have no idea.
Mickey Mouse? I'm
Yes,
Mick
that's what it's
Mouse.
from. Mick Mouse, Mick Mouse.
New girl reference.
I'm going to call him Richard for the entire episode to not make it confusing, but most of these women knew him by different names when they were with him.
Okay.
All of these women reported that he came off as a very successful man. He said he was in real estate, owned his own company, and was a pilot. He also claimed he was very religious. He would quickly want to spend lots of time with them, pretty much love bombing them with dates, cute messages, phone calls, texts, and gifts. He would start staying over super quickly, like within the first couple of dates. He would say things like, I just need to wake up next to you, yada, yada, yada.
Ugh.
And he would also very quickly bring up the topic of marriage. He would say he wanted to get married and he wanted to get married fast. 1 month after meeting Sabrina, he got her name tattooed on him.
Oh my goodness. That is dedication to being a turd.
He told some of the women that he was actually in a medical malpractice suit and he was going to get money and be a millionaire shortly.
Oh, please.
He wanted to combine checking accounts and then they would start to look at cars, houses, and vacation houses together. He would pray each night that they would use the money he was getting for something good.
If this was someone that you were going to marry, right? These are steps that you would take. Okay, let's join our accounts together. Let's look for cars together. So he's got a good game because, oh, we're going to get married. Might as well start doing this process now. It's a long process. I understand why these girls are doing this or
Yep.
women.
And he would say, oh, my $1 million is coming soon. Let's take out a loan on a car. Let's take out a loan on other big ticket items. Let's transfer some money to this. That was very misleading. All the women also reported that after they got engaged, he would start acting strangely. Then, suddenly, he would disappear, leaving the woman with mounds of debt and a broken heart.
What a turd.
One woman, Sandy, got fed up after being in a relationship with him and tried to leave. Richard pushed her away from the door. Then he pushed her onto the bed and picked up the closest thing to him, an iPad. He swung it over his head and started beating her with it.
So he's a violent idiot.
Sandy was screaming, "You are going to kill me." She has pictures of her black eyes and bruises all over her body. She leaves and goes to the police station, and Richard is picked up and charged with domestic violence.
Good.
At the police station, the police tell Sandy that his wife, Jean, keeps calling.
This man is married already?
This asshole had told Jean that he got jumped and the police were trying to blame it on him and she needs to come get him out of jail. Jean gets there and realizes that he was charged with domestic violence.
I can't even fathom this.
Sandy ends up taking him to court, but he never shows up for his court date.
Of course. Of course he doesn't, because he's a little coward. Also, did he not expect the police to tell his wife what he was in jail for?
Well, he called his own wife. I know. I don't understand either what his game plan was here, but
Just being an idiot turd, which she is.
Michelle is another woman who had the unfortunate experience of being married to him. She recalls that on their wedding night, he kept giving her shot after shot after shot. He tells a friend that she's drank too much, so he's going to take her outside. As he's taking her outside, he slams the door on her and she falls back and hits her head on a fire extinguisher and blacks out. She wakes up to blood soaking her white wedding dress. She ended up with 5 staples in her head.
Oh my gosh. And like such a manipulative tactic. Like, let's get you super drunk. So like you don't remember anything and I can be, oh, I gotta take care of my wife and take care of her because she's not remembering and acting like this. Like ick all around.
Yep. After the wedding night, Richard completely changed. He was extremely controlling. She had kids from a previous marriage. He would say, if you leave, I will hurt your kids. He would call her 30 minutes after he left the house for work and ask, what are you doing? If she didn't answer that call 30 minutes after he left the house, he would come back, sneak into their house, and check in on what she was doing.
What a freak.
He didn't want her to talk to her kids or her family. He would check her phone records and be like, you were on the phone with your mom for 12 minutes. What did you say to her in those 12 minutes?
He is an insecure, terrible person. And that, like, right there is like he's trying to get her away from family, her own kids, friends. Just talk to me. I'm your whole world. So he can isolate her and have full control because then she has nobody. And that's disgusting to me.
Unbeknownst to her, he put a tracker on her phone.
Oh, God.
Then she says she started getting stronger. When he would do this, she would stand up and say, go ahead and hit me. Just do it. And he had no idea what to do. It would
She's a
stop
little
him in his
baby.
tracks. Eventually, she called her mom and took her son and left.
Good.
Altogether, at the time of this documentary, Richard was married to 10 different women, sometimes more than two women at the same time,
How is that possible? Just how? Well, he had the different
because he
names.
has
So I'm
different
sure.
names.
Oh my gosh. 10 women? You were married 10 times?
And some of them at the same time.
And how? How are you living that double of life of you have two wives? I don't understand this man.
Gary was a friend of Richard's growing up. Junior year of high school, Gary and Richard decided to drop out of school. Gary says this is where he changed. He suddenly always wanted a girlfriend. He would brag about how many girls he could date at once. He started telling lies so much that he started to believe them.
Okay.
Richard was good at hiding in plain sight. At one point, he was working at a mortgage company. The company gets a call from another company saying that Richard scammed them out of thousands of dollars when buying jewelry for a woman. Richard calls his work the next day and says he had a heart attack.
What? I don't
So
mean to laugh, but this is ridiculous.
a coworker goes to visit him in the hospital, and Richard is lying on a hospital bed, not hooked up to any machines.
Okay. So he like this guy was like, I'm gonna come visit you in the hospital. He's like, yeah, this is the room I'm in, and this man's like snuck into the hospital and just laid in a random hospital bed with no one in it.
So his coworker is very confused. And as he's leaving, he hears the doctor say, have you ever had any heart episodes?
No way. So he came in here and was like, oh, I think I had a heart attack. And they're like, no, man, you didn't at all. So he did actually go in for commitment, but the doctor was like, no, dude, your ticker's fine.
Richard disappears, never to be heard from again.
Just like a con man as can be, not even with the women, with his jobs, with the jewelry store. Like,
Everybody in his life, we'll see. Everybody.
my God.
This part is very sad, just a heads up. So the documentary finds Richard's sister, Tony, and interviews her. Tony was 20 years younger than Richard.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately, when she was 12 years old, their mother passed away.
Hmm.
She moved in with Richard. He would date lots of women while she lived with him. And he would tell these women that she was his daughter to try to gain sympathy points with them. Behind closed doors, he was abusive to Tony. He would tell her she was nothing, trailer trash. Why would mom keep you around? And was actually violent towards her.
This young 12-year-old girl lost her mother, moves in with her older brother who is treating her like this. That's terribly, awfully sad. And I also think it's very weird that he would say that that's his daughter and then was like prying on single moms and wanting kids saying that's my daughter. That's like kind of creepy, I feel.
It's very creepy. So Tony got out of the situation eventually, and she no longer has contact with Richard. He does not even know where she lives.
Good. Good.
They also interview his aunt. She says when Richard was a child, he knew right from wrong. Richard went by his middle name Scott growing up. Trigger warning for suicide coming up. Richard was abused by his mother, so he lived with his grandparents till he was 9.
Mm.
His mom had a really messed up life. Her mother and her grandmother actually committed suicide together.
Oh my gosh.
When Scott was 9, his mom was visiting for him for Christmas, and she took Richard and ran off with him, never to be seen by his family again.
His mom kidnapped him, and then none of the family saw
And
him after
they
that.
never found him.
So then his childhood, not to give this man's any excuses, but was not great at all.
Yeah.
That is very sad.
When Richard was older, he found his aunt and reconnected with her. Just like the woman he dated, he wooed her immediately. He would say things like, "You're the closest thing I have to a mom." She wasn't able to have kids, so she was so happy to fill this role for him now that his mom had passed away.
That's gut wrenching.
He even started introducing her as his mother in public. Once her husband got sick and was in the hospital, Richard offered to help. He became her husband's power of attorney. He then sold his possessions and tried to have their house put in his name.
He just pries on the vulnerable, man. I can't stand that about people. Ugh.
As I said in the beginning, some of the women have come together on this website. Richard actually has violated his probation and has a warrant out for his arrest. The problem with all his aliases, phone numbers, moving around, he cannot be found. So this group of women, the Revenge Squad, decides to do something about it.
Yeah, girls, girl power. Baddie, 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 baddie.
So the Revenge Squad talks to Carla, the bounty hunter.
Okay, Carla.
Carla picks up fugitives for a living.
She a baddie too.
Carla is like exactly how you would picture a female bounty hunter to be. She is like rough and tough and just a fucking badass.
Be our friend, Carla.
So she is appalled by this man and she says, "I will pick up this case pro bono. You women don't
Oh,
have to pay a
yes.
thing because of this dirty, dirty scumbag."
Woo.
When looking into him, she finds that he's used 8 to 9 different aliases and different social security numbers.
How do you keep track?
I literally have no idea.
Also, I'm not a criminal, but how do you find 8 to 9 different social security numbers? You just like make them up in your head? I don't understand that.
I literally have no clue.
Oh my goodness.
She has a theory that he marries women because once they're married, if he takes money out of their account or takes things out under her name, it's not illegal because they're married. So it's their money now. That's why he joins the accounts.
And then if you think about it, if he divorces or whatever he does and gets a new alias, he's not even connected to that account. She is. They can find her and he can be on his merry way. That's disgusting.
He's as horrible of a human as he is. He's very smart.
I could never think of this, but I'm not deterred. So,
One of the women, Tracy, and her kids stake out these apartments that he said he rent out. He was pretending to be a landlord when he was with Tracy.
oh God.
So one of the kids, these kids are not like little kids. These kids are like in their 20s.
You're making it sound like little 8 and 9 year olds running around.
Yeah, no, they're like in their 20s. And one of the kids sneaks into the garage and sees his motorcycle and a brand new truck. Carla looks into the truck and it is registered to a fake company.
What?
He is then spotted leaving Kansas City in a U-Haul. Carla looking everywhere for him. This girl, she ain't gonna quit, Carla. She ain't gonna quit.
She's like, I got you, woman. She's a girl's girl. I love a girl's girl.
Yes. She finally finds an article about him. Richard moved to Wichita and was now the vice president of a restaurant called Crab Kings. Crab with a K, Kings with a Z.
Okay.
Now, Carla's got a lot of great lines that she says. She is pure, unfiltered Carla throughout this documentary. But I literally took this word from word because this is my favorite thing she said in the whole documentary. She said, How the fuck do you go from apartments to crab cakes? Fucking crab. Really?
I mean, that's where my mind was going. She says what I was thinking when I was nervous laughing. Like, what?
So Richard opened this restaurant with his current girlfriend.
Oh, poor girl.
His current girlfriend who left her husband and kids for this man.
He is a different kind of scum.
But oh no, Wichita out of Carla's jurisdiction. Carla can't go
Why?
there. Don't you worry though. Carla got the connect to a PI in Wichita.
Yeah, she does. I shouldn't have even been sad. I know she does.
The PI stakes out Crab Kings and sees him there. So the next day they call Crab Kings and they're like, "Hi, is Richard in?" And they say, "He doesn't work here and we can't give out any information of previous employees," which you kind of gave out information by saying that.
That is true.
Like you're supposed to be like, "I cannot confirm nor deny that Richard ever worked here," but instead they say we can't give out information of previous employees,
Yes. So, like, he did
which,
work here.
yes. They do get in touch with an employee though, Samantha.
Ooh, we love that name.
Yes. So Samantha, she knew him as Mickey, but she says, Richard hired me, but he disappeared and never came back.
So he said, "You're hired." Mick Mouse says, "You're hired," and disappears. And she's like, "Where's Mick Mouse? He hired me." And he's just gone.
Carla, the girlfriend, was a co owner. Carla told Samantha that she was divorced. Carla is not divorced. But in talking to Carla, Carla actually found the website the other woman made, approached Richard about it. Richard said it was a witch hunt. She just had to believe him. And she said, well, if he really did it, he'd be in jail. So kept dating this man.
Women, 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 please. If there's a full blown website on a man, if there's PPOs taken out on a man, if there are women approaching you saying X, Y, and Z, here is evidence just to let you know being a girl's girl, don't be with this man. Listen, listen. If there's multiple women on this website, it's not a crazy girl. Come on.
So Carla then gets interviewed and she says she met Rick at karaoke and they get together and he's like, oh my God, your dream is to open a seafood restaurant. We should open one together. And she's like, ah ha ha, like maybe one day. And then one day she walks in and Rick is putting all of Carla's personal information into a website, trying to get her a business card. And she's like kind of mad.
Yeah.
But then she goes, but what if I get it and I can have my dream of running a seafood restaurant come true?
Because he wants to look like, oh, you've always wanted this. Let me give it to you. That's how they pull you in.
Samantha, the employee, says she started noticing weird things. The restaurant opened, they have press there. Richard refuses to be in any pictures or videos for press, for social media. He doesn't want to be in nothing.
Because he a dog in a bad way.
Another employee, Tammy, was also interviewed. One night after work, she went to the club with Richard and some other employees. She said something to Richard about him being married to Carla, and he flipped out and was like, I'm not married to her. I want nothing to do with her.
The woman he opened the seafood restaurant with?
Yeah, you might be asking, why would he say that?
Yes, that was my next question.
Because he started dating that employee.
Oh my gosh.
They dated for 3 whole days. In the 3 days, he said, I love you, sent a million texts and left a million messages.
Run.
She's like, this be creepy, fam.
'Cause
Don't
this is
love
her
this.
boss, technically, right?
Yes.
Ew.
And then he disappears. The paychecks come in and employees go and cash their paychecks and they bounce. He had taken everything in the joint bank account and left.
Let's do your dream and open the seafood restaurant. And then let's just completely mess with you because this is all coming back on Carla now that McMouse ran away. Like, what is going on?
I love that you call him McMouse. So Carla has to go to the bank and try to get his name off of everything. Samantha also finds out from Carla that Carla stole her husband's 401k to pay for the restaurant.
Carla. Oh no.
Sam has a great line too, which I'll now share with you. She says, I just got scammed by the elderly Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, you did, girl. I feel real bad for you because you did. That's so accurate.
Sam thinks that Carla had something to do with it. Carla claims she had nothing to do with it. Now, Carla goes back to her husband
No,
after this, and he says he loves her and he's going to forgive her.
this woman stole your 401k to open a seafood restaurant with another man. This sounds legit fake.
I will say they interview him, and it seems like maybe our lights are a little dim. The lights are on somebody's home, but maybe the lights are a little dim. Maybe we haven't experienced much life outside of our small town in Carla.
Yeah, and baddies, can we promise each other if someone steals our 401k to open a seafood restaurant with somebody else, we just drop them?
Yeah. Yeah. So PI's back on the hunt. Carla back on the hunt. We got to find Richard. He's disappeared. They accumulate a list of 43 phone numbers and 53 addresses that are associated with Richard Scott Smith.
How does he keep up? I could never. What's your phone number? I'd be like, hold on, I gotta check. Like,
Yeah.
that would look suspicious as can be.
Sometimes I forget my zip code. And I've been in my house for almost a year.
Sometimes when I'm at the gas pump and you have to put in your zip code, I almost put in my old Michigan zip code. And that was like 10 years ago I lived there. So
Yeah.
there's no way.
So then they know what to do. They go to this girl, Lee. Lee dated Richard at one point. They're no longer dating, but she thinks he is amazing. Her parents love him. She says it's all a witch hunt. And she talks to him 4 times a week,
What?
but claims she doesn't know where he is.
With what number, girl?
So the PIs are like, we just going to hang out with Lee. We going to run into him
Oh, yeah.
if she hangs out with Lee. So that's what they do. And they do find him. And he's in Knoxville, Tennessee. Take one guess on where Lee lives.
I don't know. I don't want to.
Knoxville, Tennessee.
I was afraid I'd be wrong.
And he was working at a boat and RV repo place.
Oh my God.
They get him on video meeting up with Lee's dad, Oscar.
What? This whole family is infatuated with this man?
The vehicle he is driving belongs to Oscar.
Oscar gave this man's the vehicle.
Gave this man the vehicle. Lee is dating another man at this time. So this documentary calls up Lee's boyfriend. And he's like, oh my God, thank you for calling. Richard is trying to slide in and do something. I'm here to help.
Woo! He knew all along.
Lee, who's been dating Daryl for 3 years, breaks up with him because Richard is back.
How did Lee and Richard meet each other?
They dated a long time ago.
Oh, yeah, you said that. So now her little fling's back. She breaks up with Daryl after 3 years?
Yes.
Lee, come on, girl.
Daryl tells them that a couple weeks ago, Richard says he needs a place to stay. And Lee allows him to stay at their parents' condo. She has her dad, Oscar, pick him up at the bus stop.
These parents, no, I can't.
Well, Daryl says that Oscar is starting to get old. He's starting to forget some stuff. So Richard starts calling Oscar dad and saying that he loves him.
Taking advantage of the vulnerable. That's why he wants Lee back. Oh, your dad's getting forgetful. I can get this money from your dad.
Daryl tells Lee Richard is a con man and is going to take advantage of your parents.
Good for Daryl. You break up with me. Like, he's not like deuces. He's like, you know what? Let me be nice and tell you that this man is a con man.
Now, mind you, Lee breaks up with Daryl, but is not dating Richard at this point. But
Interesting.
Richard is dating a new girlfriend in Knoxville named Stephanie.
Okay.
So now that the Revenge Squad has all this information, they decide to trek to Knoxville, Tennessee to finally get him.
They all go together.
Yeah.
I love everything about this.
Carla comes too. Don't worry.
Oh, yes.
They find out he has another girlfriend. And what's her name? Stephanie. This is Stephanie number 2.
There's two Stephanies.
Yes. I guess you
Oh.
won't forget her name.
Yeah, I guess this one was easy for him. He's like, at least I don't have to remember this stuff.
So they're trailing him, these PIs all around, and the Revenge Squad's coming up there to trail him all around. And they realize he stops going to work as much because he's trying to juggle 2 women. And now all of a sudden he's got a third, Lisa.
How? How? And Lee's still on the back burner.
They go out there. They're following him around. They call the police, are like, there's a man with a warrant out for his arrest. He's right here. Come get him. The police come. They get him. He's arrested. Let's go, Revenge Squad.
Heck yes, girls. Woo!
Less than 24 hours after the arrest,
No.
Oscar's boat is sinking.
No.
He refuses to believe that Richard had anything to do with this. But as you remember, Richard was working at a boat repo shop.
Yes.
And Oscar had been in talks with him about buying the boat. So if the boat was sinking, Richard would have to spend a lot less on the boat.
This man is terrible.
Richard goes to court and he is sentenced to be incarcerated for 180 days.
Not long enough.
No, but remember, none of this conning stuff he's been arrested for because
Truth.
he can't be. However, they get an interview with Richard Scott Smith while he's in jail.
Oh, God. I can't wait to hear this.
Are you ready to get your panties in a bunch?
Oh, yeah.
He says he is not the person people say he is. He's always been looking for a long-term, permanent relationship.
With multiple women?
He says he moves fast because he is afraid of people leaving him.
You're the one who disappears.
He said he's gotten no money from this. He's usually paying someone else's bills. Why would he do this if he's paying these women's bills for them?
I don't think anyone believes you, Richard.
He does this like fake forgiving the women for what they did to him. He's like, I forgive these women for what they did to me.
Like trying to guess like the F out of the situation, but like no one believes you.
He prays for them to be happy and get what they want and move on.
Joke.
They ask him, and he says 2 times in his life he's been married to 2 people at once. But he didn't know he was married to 2 people at once, Sam.
Okay, Richard, how do you not know that? And Richard, that's not normal. One time, that's not normal.
He thought the divorces already went through. It was all just a misunderstanding.
So you're just saying I'm just so dumb. My wife said she wanted a divorce, and I said, oh, guess that means we're divorced. Time to marry someone else. I don't understand.
He says he does use 3 different names, Sam. He uses Richard, he uses Scott, and he uses Mickey. But it's just so people don't Google him and find that website. Even though 2 of those names are in the website
I was just thinking, if people Google Richard, they're seeing the website, buddy.
And all 3 of those names are on the website.
And you started using those names before the website.
Yeah. All just a misunderstanding, Sam.
He makes me angry.
6 months later, he's out of jail. And they have video footage of him swimming in a pool with another woman.
No. This is not how it ends. Please tell me.
This is how it ends.
No, he's going to keep scamming on people. He is going to keep scamming people.
Yep.
This is a depressing ending.
It is a depressing ending. I did link the website in the show notes. I am just going to send it to you, Sam, so you can see it real fast. I just really enjoy it because it's an old website. And it's also put together by women who probably don't have much
They're not like
website
IT
experience.
geniuses.
Yeah, so it's just very fun. Sam,
Hold
open
on.
it up and describe what you see.
I'm so sad that that's how it ends. He's swimming with another girl. Oh God. He looks like a
Yeah.
turd. Someone said, I mean, how terrifying is this mugshot? Or that's one of their posts. And yeah, girl, I agree.
But him like behind the little jail bars in the jail suit.
Oh, that makes me giggle so hard. I should have
It's
started
like
with
a
that.
Photoshop picture of a guy in like a typical black and white striped jail suit, and they photoshopped his face on it, and it's very funny.
Because that's where he belongs. Also, I just realized it's a Weebly website. That's like very of the time. Like
Yes.
2016, you would get a Weebly. I think I had like a Weebly website in college for something.
Do you remember Xanga?
No,
It
that
was
might
like a
be
website where you
before.
could journal on.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like
Yeah.
scrolling down. There's a lot of information on here. Um, so if you are ever dating this man or know anyone, there's so much information that these women put on here. His court thing, it just goes down and down and down. It says, message me if you want more information. He's not safe around children. There's a place to
These
contact
are
them.
most of the posts are from 2016.
Mm. Oh, here's a 20. There's, oh, it's 2020 though.
Yeah, I think there's one post from 2020.
I'm disgusted by him in every way, shape, and form. Like literally.
He
Everyone
is
should
the
check
scum
this
of the earth.
website out. Yep, he is. And if you see this man, warn whoever's around this man. I'm just so upset. He's out and scamming women. He's like, oh, like probably like, oh, my crazy ex-wife threw me in jail, like being a turd, like he did for the other things. And vulnerable women are believing him.
Yeah, well, that's our show.
A wild one. It was a refreshing one because no murder, but also I feel bad for like the way he destroyed these women's lives and now he's still out there.
Yeah, it's very angering
Yes.
and like just pure shocking.
Oh my God, yeah. That one person can do all of this crazy
And like,
stuff.
I was talking to mom a little bit about it, and I was just like, you never really know who someone is.
No, which is honestly pretty terrifying
Yeah.
that somebody could do that.
Thank you so, so much for listening. Please give us a follow on wherever you are listening to this podcast, or just like go on every platform we're on and follow. Like, that would be a fun little game for you.
Mm.
Um, you can also give us a nice review. Those help us get noticed. And you can follow us now on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. In all of those places, we are at Bloodshed Baddies.
Send us an email with a case suggestion or a story to bloodshedbaddies@gmail.com. Intro music made by our awesome cousin Vinny. Check him out on streaming platforms. Tell a friend and tune in next week for a same episode.
Bye, baddies.